What's going on, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BoxingWave10. Shout out to everyone that was here last night. First off, shout out to the new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Shout out to everybody that was here last night, okay, while I was covering the live commentary. All right, had a good time. Welcome to the channel. Also, shout out to everyone that donated to the channel as well, that's been donating, you know, on the live commentaries. You know, if you want to donate to the channel, all of my information on it is in the description of every video, okay? So it's not hard to find me, but I appreciate to anyone that's donated or even hit that like button. You know, it's all good. Canelo did it again. You know, he did it again, and he made it look easy. Another fight where he made it look easy against a good opponent, you know. And listen, I've read a lot of comments over the past week about this fight, before and after, during the fight, you know, and it's a pretty mixed bag as far as where Canelo's going to go from here, you know. And I'm going to start, before I go there, let's talk about the fight. As I was saying throughout the live commentary, Callum Smith never looked comfortable in there, and he never looked confident in there. He wasn't throwing his punches with confidence, okay? He never looked comfortable. His back was against the ropes. I mean, from the opening round, I thought that Callum was already letting Canelo come in too close, all right? And Canelo, you got to keep him at range, man. You can't let him be in your space. Canelo was pretty much always in Callum Smith's space. You know, he was landing his jab at will. And I thought that was a problem early in this fight. You know, once Canelo was in there and popping Callum Smith's head back with a jab, I just knew that this fight was going to be a long night for Callum Smith. And it's no surprise. You guys seen the breakdown video I did. Everything that I said happened in this fight. You guys saw my first thoughts. You know, a lot of you didn't like my first thoughts because I said that I wasn't excited for this fight. You know, I had different preferences on who Canelo should face. And Callum Smith wasn't the guy I wanted to see him face. And I think a lot of you guys take offense to that. You guys think that I don't respect Callum Smith's boxing ability. You guys are taking it the wrong way. I'm talking about for Canelo specifically. Callum Smith was my least favorite of the four in 168. He was my least favorite because I know he's tall, okay? I know he's tall. I know he has a long reach. I know he's a big guy. But style-wise, what's the point of having all of that height if you don't know how to fight a rangy fight like a Kovalev, like a Irislandy Lara, you know, or some of the other guys that knew how to box with Canelo from the outside? Triple G, great jab, you know. Callum Smith doesn't have the tools. And a part of him being as successful as he is because of his height, his size at the division. Part of the reason on why he's the top guy at 168 at the time of this fight is because of his size. His size. His you know, if he wasn't so big, would he be as good? Is he as skillful as Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Plant, Benavidez, Andrade, Charlo? Is he as skillful, all of those guys? If he was or Daniel Jacobs, if he was the same height as the rest of these guys, if he was that, would he be as good? Would he still be undefeated? How would he look against these other fighters? You know, very big guy, but he doesn't know how to utilize that height and reach advantage. Like, not as good as some of the guys that Canelo's faced. Canelo's faced smaller guys than him that knew how to box better from the outside. Canelo struggled to get on the inside against Lara. Kovalev got stopped. I understand Kovalev got stopped, but Kovalev was winning more rounds by just using his jab. because he's better at doing it. He's more experienced. He was older. Okay, he was beat up from the previous fight, but there's a difference in the skill gap. There's a big skill gap between Callum Smith and some of these other fighters. Now, I'm not saying Callum Smith will lose to the rest of these guys at 168. That's not my point. I'm talking about Canelo specifically, a bad stylistic matchup. You guys you were looking at size and nothing more. Nothing more. It was solely, Callum Smith is too big. He's too big. He's too big. That's all I heard all week. He's too big. He's too big. He's too big. All right, well, we've seen big against Canelo before. All right, and Callum, he's good, but he's not that good. He got some good wins. He retired George Groves. I get it. George Groves is not on Canelo's level. He's not. He's not. We seen what happened when George Groves fought an elite fighter. Okay, we seen what happened when George Groves fought Badou Jack. He's a good fighter, but that's your best win. It's a good win, but Canelo's different. And I was telling you guys this. Canelo's just different. And a lot of you guys were coming back at me with this, I'm sleeping on him. He's better than what I think he is. You guys take it personal. I'm talking about for Canelo, bad style matchup. And that's why it was my least favorite out of the four. Good fight. Good opponent. Still better than what we're getting from most of these fighters. But for Canelo, not so good. So, listen. Canelo dominated. I mean, Canelo, did what he did. I give Smith a lot of credit because he showed his toughness. His punch resistance was good. He took a lot of damage from Canelo and didn't even drop a knee. He tied up a few times, but for the most part, he was able to take it and continue and fight the fight. I think in the last round, he moved around a lot and survived. But for the most part, he fought back. He didn't just run. He fought back. So I respect him for that. And, sometimes some guys are just in there to survive. John Ryder fought that. I don't know his name. I know his last name was Guy, the previous night on the Triple G fight. And that guy survived. He fought without fighting the entire fight, and that's why the fight lasted as long as it did, because this guy had no intentions to actually fight. Smith did fight, but he didn't look confident when he threw his punches. He landed some of the right shots, but they just didn't seem to have that much effect, and that's a whole nother thing too. He's a big dude, but Canelo has a granite chin. He has a great chin. When you step up and you fight these super world-class elite fighters, it's just different, man. The punches that used to connect and used to hurt certain opponents, it's not going to hurt Canelo. What hurt George Groves and some of these other fighters, Rocky Fielding, these guys, they're not on Canelo's level. It is what it is. I was no surprise. Everything I said in the breakdown, I was right about. And the thing is with Canelo, listen, I'm not going to go as far as saying that Canelo looks unbeatable, right? I don't agree with that. I've already seen comments like that. Canelo is not unbeatable, okay? He doesn't look unbeatable to me. But he is the best fighter in the world to me, pound for pound. All right, going saying he's unbeatable, let's not get crazy. But 168 and below, I don't know who beats him. All right, but Canelo beats his opponents and makes it look so easy that a lot of people feel that his fights are fixed. You know, I was getting a lot of it was fixed. A lot of comments yesterday about the fight being fixed. You know, I woke up today and was reading more comments. I was listening to a couple other channels, and there's people out there that's saying that the fight was fixed. You know, a lot of people felt the same way about Kovalev. You know, a lot of people felt that Danny Jacobs against Canelo was a sparring match. You know, it's just, for some reason, when Canelo gets in the ring with these guys, they don't look too good. They look much better than before fighting Canelo. You know, people are really just never going to be satisfied. And you know, another thing I noticed, when it comes to who people want Canelo to face next, it's all over the place. It's all over the place, man. I mean, from the polls that I posted from last year to this year to, it's all over the place. You know, I'm seeing people saying Benavidez is the only guy that can do it. You know, he has the best chance of doing it. I'm seeing people say Saunders and his quick skills, his skill set and his quick hands, he's the one that can do it. I'm seeing Plant. I'm seeing Charlo. I'm seeing Andre. It's all over the place. It's all over the place, man. Like, how do we just really decide on who's next or who has the best chance of fighting Canelo and beating him? Some people say he's not going to lose to any of these guys. He will only lose to Bivol or Better BF. You know, it's, how do you, no one's going to ever be happy. There's too many people. Let's just think off top. These are all of the people that I've heard name came up for a potential opponent for Canelo Alvarez. Charlo, Andre, both at 160. Both will probably be willing to move up if given the opportunity, right? So let's not just stick to the 160 thing. Those guys will move up and fight Canelo, all right? I know Andre definitely would. Then we got the guys at 160. We have Plant, Benavidez, Saunders. We have those three, right? Then you also still got Triple G, who's at 160 still. He wants his third fight. And then we got the two guys at 175, Bivol and Better BF. Okay? That's 8 guys. That's 8 guys. So whoever, let's just remove those 2 guys at 175. By the way, Bivol said he would move down to 168 to fight Canelo. Even if we remove the 2 guys at 175, anybody you choose, if he fights Charlo next, there are going to be people that are going to be mad at that decision. Am I going to be mad? Absolutely not. Because I think all of those guys are fine. Any of those guys that Canelo chooses to fight is fine. If he picks Saunders, people are going to be mad. If he picks Andre, people are going to be mad because everybody wants him to fight someone different. We don't all agree. It's not like, you know, 147 situation where the majority of the people want him to fight Bug next. Yeah, you got some super extreme Spence fans that want Bud to fight everybody else but Spence. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about them. The Canelo situation is completely different because there's a lot of fighters there that to choose from, and no one, if he fights Triple G for a third time, people are going to be pissed off. He's going to knock him out this time. I'm already getting the comments. He's going to get the knockout. If he fights Callum Plant, people are going to be mad. The Charlo people are going to be mad. The Andre people are going to be mad. It's you can't really please anyone. He only can fight one of these guys. He could only fight one. I mean, let me tell you who I think he should fight. Again, I wouldn't be unhappy if he fought any of these guys. I don't want to see the Triple G third fight. All right, I don't want to see it because I don't think the outcome would be any different. Even if the fight is competitive, which it would be. Saw Triple G look good the other night. You know, his defense is better. But I also feel like his work rate is a little lower than what it was. You know? I think Canelo beats him in the third fight more convincingly than he did in the first two. Now, we would have to see it to know it, but Canelo is still young. He's in his prime. He's already fought Triple G twice. Did better in the second fight. I don't know what Triple G can do to improve again. And even if he does improve, will it be enough to the judges? You know? I would love for him to fight both Charlo and Andre. I would love for him to fight either one of those two. I know they're at 160. But even if they agreed to come up and fight at 168, I would love for him to fight one of those two. You know why? Because I've been wanting to see that for a really, really long time. I wanted to see those fights at 154 when Charlo was doing his thing at 154, when Andre was doing his thing at 154. Okay? Andre had the title, the WBO title, at 154. Got stripped due to inactivity. Canelo picks up the belt by leading Liam Smith. Andre held the belt at 160 while Canelo was there coming off the Triple G win. He had 3 titles. Could have fought Andre. Didn't fight Andre. He fought Sergey Kovalev. All right? That's why I want to see the Andre fight. I've been wanting to see it. Charlo. The whole WBC situation. I want to see it because of that. Plus, I think this... Listen. Were any of you happy with the Callum Smith fight? Were any of you happy with the Sergey Kovalev fight? Were any of you happy with the Daniel Jacobs fight? How bad could it be if Canelo fights Andre? How bad would it be if Canelo fights Jermall Charlo? Would it really be that bad? After seeing these last few fights, would it really be that bad? I also want to see some of the other fights, though. That's the thing. As badly as I want to see those fights because I wanted to see them longer, I would love to still see the Billy Joe Saunders fight. I expressed that on here for a while, too. I would love to see him fight Billy Joe Saunders. Caleb Plant is cool, but I like Caleb. I like the eye test. He looks good. But I'm unsure about him. I actually want him to see him last out of this group. Because I don't like the opponents he's selecting. All right? I don't like the difference between him and Andre is that with Andre actually want to fight the best. Caleb Plant has not shown me that he's really in it to fight the best so far. So I actually want him to have it the least. You know, I know Andre haven't been fighting the greatest of the fighters, but a lot of these fighters don't want to fight him. And a lot of fans will defend whoever it is, whether it's Triple G or, oh, he didn't fight anybody. He didn't fight anyone. Well, you know what? Who did Rocky Fielding fight? You know? Who did the last opponent fight? Who did Steve Rose fight? You know? Who did the last guy Triple G just beat the other day fight? You know, like a lot of these fighters that get opportunities to fight guys like Triple G really didn't do much neither. At least with Andre, he had a belt. You know? Who else is out there? Benavidez. Now he shot himself in the foot by losing that title. So that wouldn't be a title shot for Canelo. Now, stylistically, I would love to see that fight. I think Benavidez is going to give a better fight than Callum Smith did. I think Jamal Charlo would give. I think Demetrius Andre would give a better fight than Callum Smith. Even if Canelo were to knock one of them out, they would give better fights than Callum Smith. You got Saunders, really, really quick hands, moves extremely well, knows how to fight a rangy fight, knows how to work behind his jab. Not just tall and big. He can actually box really, really good. A lot of these guys have more tools than Callum Smith do, outside of just being big. So I don't have like an order. I will probably put Plant last though. Okay? I will put Plant last just because I don't know about him. I'm not sure about him. But any other fight, I'm cool with. I would put Plant and Triple G at the end. Only because I've seen the Triple G fight twice already. I already seen that fight. I want to see something different. This is my personal preference, by the way. Anybody else, I'm cool with. I'm cool with Benavidez. I'm cool with Andre, Charlo. I'm cool with Billy Joe Saunders. You know, I'm cool with all of those fights. I'm cool. If he really wanted to test himself, though, if he really wanted to put himself in real danger, Bivol and Better BF at 175. You know, I know Bivol said he's willing to come down at 168. He's not the biggest guy at 175. I would like Canelo to fight Bivol at 175. You know, that's where he fights at. If you're going to fight Bivol and he holds a belt, fight him at his own weight. You know, you already fought at 175 before. You know? So I would like that. I think that would be, all right. I think those two would be his toughest challenges above all of these guys at 168 or 160. I think 168 and 160, though, is a mixed bag. Like, I know Andre and Charlo is smaller, but I think they would bring a lot more to the table than Callum Smith did, even though Callum Smith is a bigger fighter. The two of them are really two real good aggressive fighters. You know, really aggressive fighters. You're gonna get a good fight. I don't know why people are saying that those are not good fights. I don't understand. Are you watching the fights that Canelo's been in? Did you watch the Sergey Kovalev fight? Did you watch the Callum Smith fight? Were those fights really good? Did you watch the Rocky Fielding fight? Was that fight really good? So I don't understand why people don't want these 160 guys in the ring if they're willing to move up. I'm not saying Canelo has to go back down. I'm not saying that. But if they want to move up to fight him, what's the problem? What's the problem? I'm expecting a Triple G third fight. Now, if we talking about what I actually expect, Triple G for the third time. You know? Just end it, and that'll be that. You know? That's the fight that DAZN has always wanted. And I think they're going to pay to both of them. And, you know, I think that's part of the reason why Triple G is on. He had a card this weekend, too. I mean, he looked good. He looked good, but look at who he's facing. He was facing a guy that he toyed around with. You know? Good defense, good head movement, but are you going to show that head movement against Canelo? I don't think so. You know? I don't think so. It might be better, but you're not going to be coming forward with your guard down like that, just slipping shots. You know? Anyway, good win for Canelo. Callum Smith, just, You know, he could be champion again. He could be champion again at 168. I know he was talking about the weight, possibly going up to 175. 175 is a different beast, man. And you no longer, even though he's still large and tall at that division, you're fighting a different beast. It's a different beast up there. You know, I'm not even just talking about Bivol and Better BF. You got other fighters up there that are tough. You know, guys that are more durable, bigger, stronger fighters. You're not gonna that height advantage that you have, that size advantage at 168 that you have. You're not gonna have it like that. You might be couple inches bigger, but you really slim. You know, these guys at 168, they're beasts up there. So if you're gonna go up there, you got Zerto up there. You got Joe Smith Jr. up there. You know, you got other fighters up there that are really, really good. You know, so if you're gonna go up because you're having trouble making weight now, just make sure you understand that the opposition is a lot heavier up there than 168. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.